I promise.
Officer Jackson.
Officer Jackson, how are you doing?
Hey, brother. How you doing?
Good. Were you
Can
on
you
the
do me a
stop
favor?
last night?
I'm just here to get my coffee.
I know, but I have a question.
Don't talk. I'm good right now.
There's a fear, I think, also. I mean, you don't know, like, can I approach this, person or not? Like, what are they going to think? I mean, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
anybody on your department can always come up and talk to me. You're not detained.
Oh yeah.
You're free to go at any time.
Exactly.
I give that warning because it's hard to get away from me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I do give that warning. You're
Well,
free to
mainly
go.
it's hard to get away
I'm
from me
gonna
because I
start-
talk so much.
I'm gonna start asking Officer Jackson to have a seat on the curb though, while I talk to him.
Freaking love
Anything
it.
I hear a
I
police
love
officer
it.
say, I say right back to them.
I love it.
Right?
That's awesome. I love
It doesn't sound the same when they hear it back.
No, it doesn't.
You know what I
It
mean?
doesn't.
Like, I mean, that's really rude to ask somebody to sit on the curb.
Yeah.
You know what I
If
mean?
there's ever a chair nearby, I always offer the chair.
I mean, it's a control thing. You know what I mean? Like, I guess,
Yeah, but even
right?
when you do that, like I honestly, first the ground's dirty. Like
Yeah.
I'm not about that life.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Look
hey,
at you.
baby.
See what I mean? You know everybody, officer.
Hey, y'all rolling that fine. Hey.
No, we just got here.
No, I can. I don't get a hug, Linda. Oh.
You're back for more?
Oh yeah.
And you know everybody too, and that's why you're on the community outreach.
Oh yeah.
I was telling Sergeant Lanier that you're super jolly.
Yes. Yes. That's it. Sometimes it's a lot to live up to, but other than that, yeah.
Did he tell you my name?
I'm sorry.
Did he tell you my
He told
name?
me your first name. And
Yeah, that's all
I'm good
anybody
with that.
knows.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, no, that's all anybody knows. I usually just make people work for it. Then I know that they want it.
Oh, well, you,
You
know
know
what?
what I
I
mean?
actually didn't even ask.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're telling they've held meetings
Oh, okay.
already and distributed my name.
Oh, I'm not stressed out about it.
No, it's just I find it funny. I mean, anytime somebody wants to know your name, they're showing interest,
Mm-hmm.
right? And when somebody really works for it, they're really showing interest, right? And
Yeah.
that's good. Then they remember it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Good stuff.
But yeah, he did stop in. That was good.
Yeah, I told him to swing by when he got done. He was tied up on another call, so.
Yeah, I don't know if he told you, but what happened was a couple days ago, there was the fire department in here and ambulance over there at Best Buy,
Uh-huh.
and I was filming that, right? And the security guard came and actually stole my phone out of my hand and tried to, he gave it back, but then I turned it back on, and then he started chasing me around, like trying to take the phone again. Yeah, security
It's a public
guards,
place.
right? Yeah, it's public, you
So,
know.
I mean, yeah.
But I didn't want to file charges, but I just wanted him to talk to the guy, and so I didn't know if he had, and so that's why I wanted to see,
Fair enough.
you know what I mean, what happened. But he said he talked to his supervisor, so
Yeah.
that was good, you know. Sometimes these security guards, you know, they get a little crazy.
Well, that, they don't. Some, I can't say all.
Yeah,
They just,
some. I mean,
we.
they have a gun.
Well, and we go through all the training and stuff for it, and I don't know what sort of training that security guards get. I don't know. I've never been
Oh,
a security
yeah,
guard.
I mean, really, they shouldn't be touching anybody,
Oh,
really.
100%.
You know, I mean, I guess they can defend themselves, but so can I,
Yes.
right? And
Well,
this is
yeah.
a stand your ground state, but nevertheless, like, any reasonable human would not want to stand their ground with a security guard if avoidable, because when the police get there,
Right.
generally speaking, not, generally speaking, the police are going to take his side right away. Generally, I'm saying, you know what I mean? He's the guy with the gun, right? That's,
Yeah.
been charged with protecting the property. And I mean, I could just imagine it, right? Like,
Have a good night, ma'am.
I mean, I guess I could have like hit him or something, right? Like when he had my phone, you know what I mean? I wouldn't do that, but I'm just saying legally speaking, right?
Yeah.
Or like when he's chasing me, you know, I could have.
Yeah, that's
But then I probably would have been
kind of
shot
weird that he.
by him. You know what I mean?
God, I hope not. But I mean, that's weird that he chased you around.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous, you know? I mean, people get bent out of shape from a camera sometimes, especially older people. They don't know, you know?
Yeah.
They think they have a right to privacy when they're in public.
Yeah. Well,
Right,
you
and of
know,
course
it's
they
just
don't,
this day
you
and
know.
age with everything, and it's,
This day and age.
everything's like, everything's electronic, everything's recorded. It doesn't matter. you
Yeah,
know?
we're all on camera, you know? And
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like, there was no. I asked him, you know, I was like, "Are you saying like I can't take a selfie in this shopping center?" And he's like, "No, you can't." It's like there's no photography allowed, right? And he said that was on the list of rules, which I went over and looked at, and it didn't say that. But what it did say was no non-commercial expressive activity. I'm like, what are they trying to get at with that? I don't know what they're. I mean, I know they're not talking about photography because they would be
No.
happy to have people taking pictures in here.
No,
you know?
I believe it's just a better way of saying not soliciting.
Well, they also said no soliciting. That was a separate thing. But I mean,
That's
the
it's just
expressive
different verbiage I
activity
haven't-
like had that tinge of. I mean, recording is covered under the freedom of expression,
Right.
But also the freedom of press.
But I think it's more or less since, and again, this is just my interpretation. I'm not sure how they made it. I'm going to ask them about this.
I'm gonna ask them too. Yeah.
But since public access on private
Yeah,
property,
yeah.
right? So
No, they could ask me to
they-
leave.
Well, no, not even that. So we're talking about non-commercial expressive. They can not have, like, if somebody wants to come and protest something,
Oh, now that. Okay.
that they
Yeah,
that could
definitely.
be, that could be
They're not going to
what
allow
they're-
protesting on their property.
right. That's what
No,
I'm saying. That could
that's
be what
obvious,
that
yeah.
verbiage.
That
means.
makes sense.
So that's the only thing that makes sense to me.
But I mean, that's assembly.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's also expression. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it also said like something about clothing that's likely to cause
Oh yes.
disturbance or something. You know, I mean, that's again,
Oh,
your
well-
free speech is limited. You know, they can ask you
Well,
to
I'll
leave
tell
for
you
any
what,
reason, but
The clothing options today.
Right.
are, not my forte.
right. But I mean, sometimes people do choose that way to protest. They put their phrase on their shirt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
But there's a lot
I mean,
of that. And really, I'm like, at the end of the day, are you truly offended by what their shirt says? And if it is, then
well, I mean, free speech covers racist remarks, but
no, but that's what I'm saying.
But that would truly offend a lot of people.
Yes,
certainly. you
but I
know?
mean, like, so let's say if, I don't know, let's say I had because I know they were talking about, what's his name? Can't remember the guys. He's a late night talk show guy. Gosh, he's got an accent. I suck at this
I think
right
I
now.
know who you're talking
They don't
about.
pay me to be
too.
smart after 5 o'clock. Or actually, do you even remember?
I think I know who you're talking about.
Late night talk show host.
Right.
I think
can't-
he's English, maybe.
Yeah, I think I know who you're
But
talking
he's a
about.
heavier set guy with a real close haircut.
Oh, now I don't know who you're talking about.
Well, so he does a rap battle, part
Okay.
of his show. So somebody sued him or something to the effect. I'm not sure it was a suit or something like that, but they were upset because they were saying that he's taking liberties and that rap battling is in the African American culture and he's not allowed to use it.
What?
Yes, right.
That's
Which is the stupidest
absurd.
thing I've ever heard of.
Yeah, I mean, well, racism is real and it goes both ways.
Oh,
right?
100%.
I
It
mean,
does go both
it's
ways.
natural
but
human nature.
bye. Have a
almost.
good night. Merry Christmas. Hey, when do y'all get back on property? Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday. Okay.
It's natural human nature to group up and to like,
Well, yeah.
groups, right? That or have the same attitude.
People,
I
yeah,
guess,
like-minded
right?
people, yeah.
And You know, we're all afraid of the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, it's natural, you know, like, I
Right.
mean, immigrants have always been persecuted in this country, which is why we have gangs,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Yeah.
I mean, like the Irish gangs turned into the police, pretty much. You know what I mean? The Irish mob, they got jobs in the police department, you
Yes.
know? And
I've
now,
done a
like,
little history on that.
you have?
A little bit.
Oh, yeah?
Sorry, something in my eyeball.
Your finger.
Right. Before that happened.
Comedy is just one more service I offer.
Oh, no,
Officer
I appreciate that.
Jolly.
That's usually the remark I offer to my child.
Oh, yeah?
It was a big old eyelash. All right, I think I'm good.
So you studied the Irish.
A little bit, just because it's good to know the entire history, not just what's given to you.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, you want to know what's given to you too, because that is what the general population thinks, right? That's what
Yes.
the masses, the sheep, believe. And if you're not in touch with that, you can end up on the wrong side of a mob real quick.
yes, I don't want to be on either side.
Yeah, you don't. I mean, right. I mean, well,
Mobs aren't
anytime you
fun.
join a group, though, Officer Joe, I mean, if you're gonna get anywhere in the police department, you have to go along with the gang, you know.
Yes.
And like, there's laws saying like you can't. You kind of have to back up your partner.
Oh yeah.
Right, it's a law, you know. I mean, all gangs make those rules, but in that particular gang, it's a law.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
A little
I
different,
can't just
right?
be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, or like, you know, what you can say about an open investigation, or like, you know, about just another officer's conduct in general, right? Like, you're really not even allowed to talk about it. You
Right,
know? I
right.
trick officers into doing it by just not saying it was an actual thing, right? And you know, but that's the truth. See, I mean, if all we're getting is the press release,
Oh yeah.
that's nonsense.
Yeah, and
Right.
so I mean, you gotta everything these days, especially anything. Everything's immediate, you know.
Uh-huh.
And so when you have everything like right now, how much are they putting out? How much of it is just whatever they've gotten just from people standing around? How much
Yeah.
of it is directly from people on scene? All that other stuff. So yeah, it's a lot. And you know, it's funny. We talk about controlling information, how
Sure.
the media controls information, how we as police department control information, how just people in general control information. Even stuff coming out of White House, how information, how so controlled it is. Well, I say controlled.
Well, it's
Piecemeal.
controlled because, I mean, both the police and the press make the same mistake here, right?
Oh yeah,
And it is the press just takes the press release and prints it without checking it. Whereas, like, if it was one of the people on the street, they would check that. But when it's the police or the government that says it, they don't check it. They print first and then check later, and they want to disprove them. They want to catch them in the lie, but first they print it, right? And the police, when they're investigating, they just want to interrogate the suspect and get all the information from the suspect instead of just investigating and then go to the suspect and find out if it jives with the evidence that they've already collected, right?
well, and then it really depends on how cooperative both sides are being.
Yeah, but I mean, it's always better to get the truth first and then go and talk to the suspect or the government if you're the press, or
Well,
the
so-
suspect if you're the officer, right?
Well, so here we had an incident. Let's say there's a road rage incident, right?
Mhm.
We track down the person involved over here. We track you down, have your conversation. The other officers having a conversation with somebody else, right? And then we figure it all out. And at the end of the day, it's just two people that got angry with each other. No cars were hit. No, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Stuff
there's
like
no
that.
victim
Let's say
yet.
there's no
Right.
victim, right? There's no crime that's committed. But I'm offended because you yelled at me, right? So I'm the other person.
Pity.
there.
Yeah. That's really awkward. I mean, I hear
Right.
that a lot because people get offended you're filming, or
Right.
you know what I mean.
Right. But it's, I mean,
They say they're disturbed.
yeah.
And
A lot of
a lot of
disturbed
officers don't quite understand that either, and they say, "Well, I've got 6 complaints already that you're filming, so there must be a disturbance." It doesn't actually mean that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, they're disturbed, but that doesn't mean I disturbed them. Right?
Yeah.
I don't get the police called on me, but I've seen it happen. You know,
Well,
I have
or
in
believe-
Cedar Park. I mean, City Hall
Mhm.
called the police on me twice because I was filming. I mean, the police got there and stood there for 30 minutes looking stupid. You know, Georgetown is way above Cedar Park, but they're way better. But see, that was a case of another government employee calling for protection from the government, right?
Mhm.
And so they were kind of in a pickle, I guess, because I mean, the government protects the government, even though they're really not supposed to. Their job is to protect the citizens and serve
fair.
and
Yeah.
serve the people, right? And they're two different things, people and citizens. You know, that's why I say I'm one of the people. The people have the rights. The citizens have privileges and immunities, as per the 14th Amendment.
I like that. Okay.
You know the 14th Amendment?
Yes. But, well, I won't get into a conversation about that.
You don't
We'll
have
have
to.
that's a good conversation.
I'll
though.
talk about anything, but I mean, I'm very constitutional,
Yes.
you know, and most of my conversations with officers get to that at some point. People
Yes.
versus persons. Persons are just, citizens are persons on steroids, essentially. You know, they have some
That's
extra benefits, but
on steroids. I like
yeah, they're
that.
souped up. They have the leather seats and the power windows, you know.
Man.
But I mean, they're still persons, and like you always have authority over citizens because they're subject to the authority thereof,
Mhm, mhm.
right? But the people are up here, and they created the government, which created citizens,
I like it.
right? And all your codes, like transportation code, they say no person shall do this or shall do that.
Mm-hmm.
If Congress intended for that to apply to the people, they would have
said
written
people.
it, or they would have
Yes,
just
sir. Thank you.
they would have just, I think that was him. They would have made it they would have made it really clear by saying
I'm
no
sorry.
humans may do this or may do that,
I'm sorry,
right?
I'm not
But they
trying
don't
to
say that. No, that's fine. I
That's
think
funny.
that was him. Officer Green was his name.
Okay, I'm not
But-
sure on all the officers' names over here, but
Yeah, no, he waved at me after the fact too. After,
did he?
Well, Sergeant Lanier said he didn't talk to him, but he talked to his supervisor.
supervisor. Okay,
So I'm sure he got the word,
I'm sure.
right, and found out, you know, that that was a bad thing. You know, I don't complain. I don't make complaints. I mean, I talk on my videos and I talk about it to other officers and stuff, but I don't like go and write complaints and like try and get people fired. You know, I don't find it helpful really at all. It's no way to live.
No,
You know,
this is too much stress.
it really is. Like, I mean, I like to write, but I like to write good stories,
I was about
and
to
I
say,
don't
what
waste my
do you
writing
write?
skills. I've written 4 books.
Okay.
But I like philosophy.
Uh-huh.
Is, you know, I write about my adventures. Like, I walked here from Miami.
Wow,
And,
that's probably just the walk getting out of Miami. Probably was an adventure, but wow.
Philosophical, you know, about, well,
Everything probably.
I mean, there's a lot of logical fallacies that we've been led to believe, you know, like it's possible to help somebody
Mm-hmm.
when really the only one you can help is yourself. You can offer help, but you can't make them accept.
That's true.
And even if they do accept, you can't make them do what you want.
Yes,
So the
that's
your
true.
power is out of your hands once you offer.
That is
You
true.
can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, right?
Yes, sir.
But yet we still think that people have helped us.
Yeah.
And we still think that, like, when we're doing something, we're actually trying to help them. And a lot of people think that it's laudable. But in reality, we're really trying to help ourselves. And if we're not, it leads to problems. Whereas we get tired of it,
Mhm.
right? Like, maybe we offer somebody something and we think we're helping them, but in reality they're helping themselves, and by
Taking the
accepting
offer.
it
Mhm.
and using it well, or maybe they're not helping themselves. It's
Right.
hard to say.
Right.
But what I definitely know is that one person is not helping the other person. Right. So generally, if we don't know why we're helping ourselves by doing it, then
Why are we doing it?
then we're going to get tired of it,
Mhm.
right? And it's going to lead to a communication breakdown because we think we've been helping them and the other person doesn't think so,
Yeah.
right?
That's where people start getting upset and like, oh, they didn't
Yeah.
do anything to help me. Well,
Yeah, well, it's a contract, a verbal contract, but it wasn't all discussed, right? It's like the same thing when you hire. They have a sign on the windows that say "Help Wanted," but then when you go in and you say, "Oh, I see you need help," they say, "Oh, well, ask us first," right?
I like that.
So they flip it around and they make you fill out an application, and when they do that, they're making you ask for something that they were asking for to begin with.
I like that.
You see, and then the job thinks that they're helping the employee, and the employee thinks that they're helping the employer, and really they're both helping themselves. And
I like that.
it hasn't really been discussed. They don't really understand what the agreement is, and which is the beginning of the end, and it's why
I think we've been there for a while.
yeah, which is, really why all relationships end, whether it's a job or a boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever it is, they end because they had different expectations that were not agreed upon.
Hi. Yeah,
If that makes sense.
Yes, communication breakdowns and no expectations were not set from the beginning.
Yeah, they weren't.
Yep.
They weren't discussed.
100%.
It's not part of the deal that you're going to get yelled at, right? That wasn't agreed at the
Right.
beginning.
Did we outline this at the beginning? No.
and it's not part of the deal to be 10 minutes late,
Right.
even though it might seem petty.
Right.
It's not petty.
Right. It's
And it
not part of
adds
the
up
agreement.
in
Your 10 minutes become an hour.
yeah,
and
to the
then
guy
become a
being
day.
10 minutes, it's like, oh, that's petty. But to the employer, they're like, I can't let this go on forever.
Right.
It's going to get out of control. Like, what if other employees see that happening, and on
Yeah.
and on.
Yep, that's true.
And it doesn't get discussed right away. By the time it does, it's too late.
Yeah.
That's just one philosophical topic,
I like it.
Officer Jolie. But,
No worries.
on my walk, it's more about going forward and not going backwards, right?
Yeah.
So it seems like I went a long way, but I just put one foot in front of the other,
No, it's not.
and
long
never
way
turned
in
around.
terms of miles,
Yeah.
mileage you got on you, but
Yeah,
But when you talk about the experiences and the impeccable amount of things that you learned along that way, holy moly, right?
yeah. No, I had a lot of time to think.
Yeah.
I've always
I'm
been
sure.
philosophical, but really I had many epiphanies. Like everything kind of came together on the walk because I had a lot of time to think, and I could prove my theories. See, I had a theory that if I go forward literally,
Mhm.
I will go forward
Yes.
in reality,
Yes.
right? If I go up, north is up. When I was in Miami and I was going north, if I go north, then I'll go up. And if I'm going up, I will go up.
Yes.
And it actually came true, right? So,
That I believe.
and the other theory was that, well, let's see, if I don't ask for anything, like the time of the day or a conversation, I can say the first thing to you, even though I didn't. You actually spoke to me first, but because you, are a public servant, right?
yeah.
And I can talk to the employees at Starbucks.
Yeah, yeah.
But I will not start a conversation with somebody on the street anymore because they're not ready. Unless if they talk to me
Right.
first.
I love it.
If they talk to me first, then I know they see me,
Yes.
right? And they're ready to hear what I have to say. And it's
love
amazing
that.
how nobody talks to me if they're not ready. It's never
I love
happened,
that. I love that.
It's
They're
true.
not ready. I love that. That's awesome.
They're not ready. Well, I say they don't see me.
Okay.
Nobody runs into me. But people don't all see me. They see my shape, but they don't, not everybody sees us.
I'm sorry.
Right?
I'm just trying to see
Yeah,
what
you're
vehicle's
you're
coming up.
fine. That's an ambulance, right?
It should be. That's what the siren sounds like.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have
Well-
trained ears too.
Well, yeah. Well, when I lived in College Station, I lived between two fire stations.
Oh yeah,
So
I loved
I
College
could,
Station.
I knew the difference of which one was what
Uh-huh.
fire truck, if it was the engine, if it was the ambulance, it was which patrol car it was, if it was a SUV or a Crown Vic.
I had a lot of fun there.
Yeah.
That was
oh
a
my
cool
gosh.
town. I was there for a few months.
So,
Yeah.
well,
I'll talk your ear off. You got to walk
I know.
away from
I gotta
me,
screw-
Officer
no,
Jolie.
No
That's
worries.
the first rule.
It's okay. You're
Is-
fine. Thank you so much for talking.
I've
appreciate
seen
you.
you here before, but I had never met you. You're very connected
So,
to the people. You're always talking to somebody.
well, and even
know.
if I wasn't a cop, that's always been me.
yeah, that's why you're
so,
on the community
It's
outreach
always,
program.
yeah,
you
it's
know?
it's always been me. My mom's like, you've never met a stranger.
It's
And
in
I'm
your
like,
name. Names are very powerful.
Exactly.
You know,
So-
I slayed a giant.
Yeah,
Became
yeah, you
king
did.
when I was just a boy, and there's
Yeah,
a
you
star
did.
named after me. So
What?
Right.
On point. Thank you so much.
absolutely,
I appreciate you.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank
I'll
you.
talk to you again.
All right, awesome.
Oh yeah,
Have a good night.
you too. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Press on.
Master by the name of Bates, smoking more than all 50 states combined. Yeah, right, I gotta stay on the grind. I got no money, so my weed's on my mind. I hit the club, but you know I can't dance. 7 and 7 in my cutoff chance. Tie that shirt in my long ass hair. What part of how I look makes you think I care?